There is a place in the Arizona desert that the US military does not exactly advertise. It covers 2,600 acres. It holds over 4,400 aircraft. The total value sitting out there in the sun, $35 billion. And most of it is just sitting there, not flying, not fighting, just waiting. Some of those jets fought in Vietnam. Some flew over Iraq. Some were among the most advanced machines America ever built. Now they are parked in rows, baking in the desert heat, cocooned in white plastic like something out of a science fiction film. Here is the fact that stops people cold when they first hear it. If you put every aircraft at this facility back in the air right now, today, it would be the fourth largest air force on the entire planet. Not 10th, not 7th, 4th. Only the United States, Russia, and China have more active aircraft than what is currently parked in one location in Tucson, Arizona. This is not a museum. It is not a junkyard. It is something far more extraordinary than either. And today, we are going inside. This is DogFightDocs. Let's get into it. Part 1. What the boneyard actually is. The official name is the 309th Aerospace Maintenance and Regeneration Group, AMARG for short. It sits on Davis-Monthan Air Force Base just south of Tucson, Arizona. Most people who drive past it on the highway have no idea what they are looking at. You can see rows and rows of aircraft from the road, gray shapes lined up like a parking lot that never ends. But you cannot stop. You cannot walk in. This is an active military installation, and what happens inside is controlled very carefully. The story goes back to 1945. After World War II ended, the US military found itself with a staggering problem. The country had built nearly 300,000 aircraft during the war. Overnight, those planes had nowhere to go. The military needed somewhere dry to put them, somewhere the metal would not rust, somewhere the soil was hard enough to park a 100-ton bomber without sinking. Tucson checked every single box. Humidity between 10 and 20%. Only 11 inches of rainfall per year. A hard alkaline soil layer called caliche, practically concrete, that supports the weight of the heaviest aircraft ever built. Elevation of 2,550 feet above sea level. Those conditions are nearly perfect for preserving metal aircraft for years, even decades. The first B-29 Superfortresses, the same bombers that ended the war in the Pacific, rolled in and were lined up to wait. They have been receiving aircraft ever since. Today, AMARG processes jets from the Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, NASA, and multiple other government agencies. Nearly 700 people work there, almost all of them civilians. There are only 3 active duty military personnel assigned to the entire operation. 3. This is a billion-dollar strategic facility run almost entirely by civilians. And what they do there is far more interesting than simply parking planes in the desert. Before we go further, if you love the stories behind the aircraft that pushed the limits of what was possible, hit subscribe right now. It genuinely helps this channel keep making content like this. Thank you. Now let's get back to it. Part 2. How jets get processed. When an aircraft arrives at AMARG, it does not just get parked and forgotten. Every single jet goes through a detailed intake process. The crew logs everything: the aircraft's history, its flight hours, its condition, every part that is still usable. Then it gets cleaned, a full wash inside and out. The wash rack team works year-round, baking in rubber suits through Arizona summers, soaking wet through winters. Their supervisor once called it one of the hardest jobs at AMARG. It is also one of the most important. Cleaning removes corrosive residue and extends the life of every component on that aircraft by years. After the wash, the jet gets cocooned. Workers apply a thick, flexible white coating called spray lat to every surface, covering everything that does not need to stay open for inspection. It looks eerie, like a jet wrapped in a giant white bandage. But that coating is what keeps the desert sun and dust from destroying delicate electronics and hydraulic systems over years of storage. It is designed to last 5 years. For jets stored longer than that, the team comes back and reapplies it. A standard fighter takes 4 to 5 days to fully process. Helicopters requiring complete cocooning take a full week. Then the paths split. And this is the part that most people never hear about. Part 3. 4 different fates. Not every aircraft that comes to AMARG is here to die. The facility uses a tiered storage system that determines exactly what happens to each aircraft based on its condition, its type, and what the military might need from it in the future. Type 1000 storage is long-term preservation. Every part is kept completely intact. Nothing is removed without explicit permission from the original program office. These jets are being kept alive. They could fly again. They are America's strategic aerospace reserve, the insurance policy against a conflict that escalates faster than production lines can respond. If a major war broke out tomorrow and the military needed to surge aircraft numbers rapidly, these jets represent an option that no other nation has at comparable scale. Type 2000 is parts reclamation. These aircraft are slowly and methodically taken apart. Engines pulled, instruments removed, wiring harvested. Every usable component gets refurbished and sent back out to keep active aircraft flying. One AMARG official described the boneyard as a bank account. Every part recovered is one less part the military has to buy or manufacture from scratch. When you are talking about components for advanced fighter jets, parts that individually cost tens of thousands of dollars, the savings compound into billions across decades of operation. Some aircraft go into long-term storage for eventual foreign military sales. Allied nations purchasing American aircraft that have been preserved and refurbished rather than newly manufactured. Others are held for structural testing programs, where the airframe itself is used to gather data on metal fatigue and aging. And then there is the fate that sounds like something from a movie, because it is genuinely extraordinary. Part 4. The Ghost Planes. Some aircraft at AMARG are given one final mission, and it is the most dramatic mission of their entire career. They are turned into drones. The Aerial Target Program converts retired fighter jets into full-sized, remotely piloted aerial targets used for weapons testing and pilot training. A jet that once cost tens of millions of dollars, flown by US Navy pilots on real combat missions over real hostile territory, is stripped down, fitted with remote control systems, and sent back into the sky, specifically to be shot down. The F-16 Fighting Falcon is the most common aircraft used for this program. AMARG has prepared dozens of them for this second life. They fly without pilots. They maneuver. They test new missiles and new radar systems under real flight conditions that no computer simulation can fully replicate. And eventually, they are intentionally destroyed. It sounds almost strange, but this program is extraordinarily valuable. Testing weapons against real aircraft gives the military performance data that cannot be obtained any other way. These ghost jets train the next generation of fighter pilots and validate the systems that will protect American forces for decades to come. Even in death, these aircraft serve America. And speaking of second chances, the most remarkable stories at AMARG involve the jets that came back from the dead entirely. Part 5. What is actually out there, and the jets that came back. Let's talk about what is on that desert floor, because the lineup is remarkable. 340 F-16 Fighting Falcons, one of the most successful fighter designs in history. 340 of them sitting in the Arizona sun. F-14 Tomcats, the legendary swing-wing carrier fighter that a generation of naval aviators flew. Most of them will never fly again. FA-18 Hornets and Super Hornets. F-15 Eagles. Approximately 20 B-1 Lancer bombers, the supersonic swing-wing strike aircraft that kept the Soviet Union nervous for decades. Now resting in the desert. C-5 Galaxy transport aircraft so large you could park 6 Greyhound buses inside a single one. 4,400 aircraft. $35 billion. The fourth largest air force on Earth, parked in rows in Tucson, Arizona. But here's what makes the boneyard genuinely extraordinary, rather than simply sad. In 2013, workers at AMARG spent thousands of hours refurbishing an RF-4C Phantom that had been sitting in storage since 1989. They reinstalled hundreds of parts. They restored it to full flyable condition. The 316th F-4, pulled from storage for the Aerial Target Program, flew out of Tucson on its own power, 24 years after it had arrived to wait in the desert. More recently, a B-52 Stratofortress was restored to active duty after more than a decade in storage at AMARG. 10 years in the Arizona heat. Then back to the flight line, back to combat missions. These are not machines that go quietly. The boneyard gives them every possible chance to serve again. Part 6. Why this place matters more than people realize. It is easy to look at those rows of aircraft and feel like something is being wasted. $35 billion sitting in the sun. Machines that cost more than the entire defense budgets of most nations on Earth just waiting between the cacti. But that thinking misses the strategic picture completely. Every part that AMARG recovers is a part that does not have to be manufactured again, saving money that stays in the defense budget for everything else. Every jet held in Type 1000 long-term storage is a real military option in a conflict that escalates beyond what active production lines can sustain. Every F-16 converted into a drone target improves the missiles and radar systems that protect American pilots flying right now. Every restored aircraft that flies out of Tucson extends American air power without spending a dollar on new production. The 700 civilians who show up every day to wash, coat, strip, catalog, and restore these aircraft are doing some of the most quietly important maintenance work in the entire American defense system, far from cameras, far from press releases, in the desert, in the heat, in the cold, working on machines that once defined American air power, and may yet again. One former AMARG supervisor put it simply: every part they save from the boneyard is money that stays in the taxpayer's pocket. 8 decades of operation. Billions saved. Thousands of aircraft processed. And the facility is running today, right now, in the Arizona desert doing exactly what it has done since the first B-29 rolled in off a flatbed truck in 1945. This is not a graveyard. It is a living strategic reserve, and it is one of the most remarkable military facilities on Earth. Conclusion: 2,600 acres, 4,400 aircraft, $35 billion, 700 civilians, 3 active-duty military personnel, the 4th largest air force on Earth, sitting in the desert, waiting. Some of those jets will be stripped for parts. Some will fly again as ghost planes and be shot out of the sky on purpose. Some will be restored and returned to active duty. And some will simply wait, cocooned in white plastic, for a conflict that requires everything America has. That is America's most extraordinary military secret, and now you know it. Subscribe to DogFightDocs for the military aviation stories that most channels never tell. Drop a comment below on which aircraft sitting in that desert you would most want to see fly again. We will see you in the next one.